Hey guys, how's it going? Carl here from North Coast Constrictors. Welcome back to the channel. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. I always forget to do that part during my videos, and so I thought I'd throw that one right in at the beginning. Today I want to do a bit of I call it a bit of a lucky packet or a bit of a licorice all sorts. Those of you in South Africa will know what that means. There's not one specific thing that I want to focus on ball python breeding. I want to try and make try and keep it as short as possible. My videos never seem to be less than half an hour. I'll try and keep it less than that. But just some cool facts about ball pythons and some cool things that we're doing here at North Coast Constrictors with breeding. I want to show you some really cool snakes that we've got. I want to show you some of the pairings that we're busy with at the moment. Today's the 1st of June, so we've been pairing up for 3 to 4 weeks now, and you know, there's a lot of snakes that I haven't pulled out, and there are some projects I've spoken about. There's also some that I haven't spoken about. There's some projects that are going on next year, so let's try and, you know, I want to try and keep it as short as possible. But you know, when I start talking about snakes, I sometimes get so overexcited about it, and I can go on and on and on and on. Okay, so let's try and maybe discuss. Everybody loves clown, everybody loves pod, everybody loves desert ghost. Well, let's not say everybody, but most people. Okay, personally, this year I'll be producing visual clowns, visual desert ghosts, visual pods, and I'll also be producing a lot of hits and double hits for recessives. 100% het lavender albinos, pods, the dreamsicles, 100% het desert ghosts, 100% het clowns, and 100% double hit 100% desert ghost genetic stripes. 100% hit clown pods, clown 100% hit pod. There is so much going on, and one of the things that I have realized in this industry, there are certain snakes that don't sell, or they do sell but they sell for very cheap, and there are certain snakes that will sell and they are very expensive, but those are the snakes that you actually want and that you want to keep back in your collection for as long as possible, especially if they are powerhouse males or visual powerhouse females, because that's where you make your money. And all breeders keep back their best snakes, and then they sell the 100% het or the visual 100% het, 66% het, and so on and so forth. So as I say, this is a bit of a licorice all sorts video. It's for all my channels. All my videos for this channel are mostly directed at the new ball python breeder or an intermediate ball python breeder. It's definitely not for the pros out there. You guys are very well established and set in your ways, and ways that if you are already a successful ball python breeder, then you have got a system in place that works for you. Otherwise, you wouldn't be successful. My reason for the channel is because I'm still making mistakes. I'm learning. This is my second season now. I'm going into my second season. However, the reason that I'm making this channel is because I want to get my name out there and sell snakes to people, and I want them to know, hey, that's a guy that knows what he's doing, and he's selling us snakes that we've actually seen on his YouTube channel. Secondly, it's to help fellow breeders that are also new, because if I make a mistake in a breeding program or with my husbandry, keeping a snake, whether I'm breeding it or just looking after it, I don't keep that kind of stuff a secret. I put it on the channel and I say, I had something go wrong with a snake. I think this is why. This is what I did wrong, or I didn't do anything wrong and this is what happens. Because a lot of times you'll have a snake that has a problem, it gets sick, it dies or whatever. You blame yourself. You go, oh, what did I do wrong? Sometimes you don't do anything wrong, guys. Sometimes the snake gets sick and it dies. It's like one day you can be a perfectly healthy guy and you're running along the beach, you're at the gym, you're exercising or whatnot, and you drop dead of a heart attack, okay? I had a perfectly healthy male pastel pied, adult proven breeder. The thing was an absolute machine, and one day I came home and he was just dead in the tub. There was nothing wrong with him. He was not showing signs of fatigue. There were no visible signs that this snake was sick. It was probably just a heart attack. But I blamed myself. And it took me quite a long time and a few weeks and many conversations with very good friends of mine that also breed, convincing me that it was nothing that I did wrong. So that's why I make these videos. It's so that you can learn, and you learn from me. And if you're going into your first season, maybe you'll, even if it's just one thing that you pick up from me, you know. I'm going into my second season now. From 8 female adults that I bred last year and 3 males, I now have about 40 adult females that I'm breeding, and I've got about 15 to 20 males to choose from. I'm not obviously pairing up all the males. All the adult females that I can pair up, every single one of them is getting paired up. A lot of them are first-time breeders, and a lot of them are proven breeders. I would say the ratio is about 50-50. So let's start off with a project that is actually pretty special to me. So I love pod. There's no secrets. I love pod, and my goal in North Coast Constrictors is to produce a pod that has got loads and loads and loads of complementing genes to it. Enchi, Orange Dream, Leopard, Yellow Belly, Clown, although sometimes Clown can reduce the pattern, sometimes not, depending. I'm also working on the Exantic Pod project, okay, which is Lightning Pod. People say that's the MJ line, but I'll just say Lightning Pod as Exantic Pod. But not just that, we're adding fire into that, we're adding pastel into that, we're adding leopard into that. So you've got a black and white pod with cleaning genes that will make the snake pop, like the whites are white and the blacks are black, and then you got these intense, insane colors on them. Now you get guys that like your high white pods, you get guys that like low white pods, and then you get your guys like me that like a 50-50 even spread. So I like a pod where the saddles on the pod are 50-50 ratio to the white of the snake, okay? It doesn't mean I don't like low white, because you can see a lot of cool pattern, especially if it is a mixture of like an Exantic, leopard, fire, pastel pod. You've got a lot of that black and white, and then a lot of it's a low white, so you can see a lot of the pattern. Also with the brighter ones, with Orange Dream, Yellow Belly, Enchi, Leopard, you can see those yellows and those tans and whatnot. But personally, I love saddles, and I love an even spread of saddles along my pods. So I'm going to pull out a very basic pod, which I'm pairing up this season. Now she is, she's a big girl, and I try not to handle them too much now because these girls are all building follicles. I don't want to disturb them. This is a nice big girl. She is just a 100% head pod, okay? She's a wild type. She's a normal 100% head for pod. She is a proven breeder. I've got some of her hatchlings in my racks, and she's just a stunning girl, okay? Now this year she is being paired to a yellow belly pod, okay? Or a pumpkin pod is the other name for it, okay? So that is a project that I'm working on, a yellow belly pod to this female to produce yellow belly pods or normal pods, or if I don't get visuals, then yellow belly 100% head pods or just 100% head pods, okay? So she's one of the girls, okay? Another girl for my pod project is this girl here. Now she is also she is an Enchi 100% head pod, okay? Now you can see the pattern is slightly different. A clear thing with Enchi are those light brown eyes. I don't know if the camera can pick it up. She's quite active. Okay. She is a first year breeder this year, but she's weighing now. The last time I weighed her, she was just on 1,500 grams. So let me weigh her again so that we can see what she's weighing now, because she's going to pair up in 2 days' time. They don't like going in this bucket or this bin, this tub or whatever, but they have to go in. I really need to get a different weighing. Okay, so the last time I weighed her, she was just on 1,500 grams. Today she's weighing 1,751. Okay, so she is absolutely ready to pair, and she is also pairing up to my yellow belly pard male to produce yellow belly Enchi pards. That's the goal, if I'm lucky with the odds. Obviously, you're not guaranteed of getting the yellow belly, you're not guaranteed of getting the Enchi, and you're not guaranteed of getting the pard. However, she's 100% head pard, so the odds are very good. He's a visual pard, so the odds are very good. And then obviously let's hope you hit the jackpot and you get Enchi yellow belly visual pards, and let's hope that the bulk of them are females and you get 1 or 2 good visual males. That's always good. Okay, so that's the pards. Now I do have visual pards. Unfortunately for me, this season, and I'm just pulling out a girl here, a lot of my visual pard females are yearlings. Okay, now this girl here, this beaut, the very first snake that I pulled out, that 100% head pard, this is her daughter. Okay, so this is just a bit, but look, this is what I love about the pattern on this particular. These are the kind of pards that I buy when I'm looking for a pard to buy. I love those saddles. There's almost exactly a 50-50 ratio of the saddles to the white. Now this is a girl that's going to breed next year, and she's going to go to well, we'll see what she breeds to next year. I think it's probably a little bit too soon to say what I'm going to pair her to next year. She doesn't want to go back into her tub. Makes making a video a little bit harder, especially when you don't like editing like me. And here's another visual. Sorry guys, I'm sticking my head right in there. Here's another visual female pard that I have. Now she's a very high white pard, but this girl is a fire pard. Okay, so that is a fantastic gene to have in pard. Okay, now one of the projects that I'm working on is lightning pard, okay, which is axanthic pard, but I'm adding pastel and fire into that to make firefly axanthic pards, because the firefly, which is pastel and fire, will keep the blacks and grays black and gray instead of dulling out, and yeah, it'll just look like a beautiful snake. And then we'll add leopard into that at a later stage, and Enchi and Orange Dream, and just now we're looking at 4 genes, 5 genes, hopefully within the pard. Clown is another project that I'm working on. Clown pard, I have got unbelievable. I don't have any visual clown pards, unfortunately, but I have got male clown, for example, 100% head pard, orange. This is a powerhouse boy. If only he was a visual. Okay, he can be a bit cantankerous, and yes, he loves to hiss and he wants to bite. He's always ready. Okay, now he just looks like a cinnamon, which of course he is. Now this boy here, and I'll read off his tub because there's a lot of genes in this boy here. Okay, But here's an Orange Dream Pastel Cinnamon 100% het pard, 50% het clown. Now he is planned for the clown pard project, but in that clown pard project we're going to have Orange Dream Pastel and Cinnamon clown pards with the females that I'm pairing him up to. So let me put him back. Alright, that's a next year breeder, guys. That's not a breeder for this year. Now there's a female that I have here which is very similar to that male. She's also a breeder for next year. Okay, she's almost identical to him. She is a pastel cinnamon, 100% het pard, 50% het clown. You see, clown pards are very expensive. Okay, visual clown pards are very expensive. Now she is going to go, because she's a female and she's already 100% het pard and 50% het clown, she's going to pair up with a male that I have, which is a visual clown 100% het pard. Okay, thing is, he ate last night. Okay, and I do not really like to disturb my snakes after for 48 hours. Now this beautiful boy here, and I don't want to disturb him too much, this is my beautiful 1200 gram clown 100% het pard male, which is the basically the cornerstone building block of my clown pard collection. Okay, so all the clown 100% het pards, or all the 100% het clown 50% het pard females will all pair with this boy here who is a clown 100% het pard, and hopefully we will produce visual clown pards. He is also going to be paired with visual pard females to create double het clown pards. 100% het pard, 100% het clown. Okay. He's also this year pairing up to some other females to create 100% het clown, 50% het pards, and there's one female that I'm trying to prove out over here, which I think is het for pard. I'm almost convinced she's het for pard. She's just marked as a wild type, but I think she's 100% het for pard. So if I'm lucky, he's pairing up with her, he's already locked with her. I'll have 100% het. I'll have 100% het visual pard, 100% het clown. Okay, so you know, and she's a 1.8 kg. She's a 1.8 kg female. Right? So right now, okay, so and then obviously we've got. Let me try and find a really cool. Well, obviously, one of the stars in my collection that everybody knows about is this beautiful boy here. Okay, who's my Exantic pard. Okay, this is what an Exantic pard looks like, black and white. Exantic VPR, piebald, male. First time breeder this year. I have paired him up already to a 100% double het Exantic pard female. Unfortunately, he didn't lock. I think he's a little small because she's massive. I'm going to give him another week, maybe 2 weeks before I try and pair him again. I'm trying to get him up to 800 grams. He's just under 800 grams at the moment. Basically, this is also a building block and a stepping stone for the fire pastel Exantic pard combinations that I'm working on, where I'm, you know, and then but those take years. So that's the pard stuff. And then okay, to try and keep this video, it's already at 20 minutes. Wow, I can't believe how quickly time goes. So let's pull out something here okay, I'm going to show you the Dreamsicle project. I've got a male visual lavender albino pard, which is called a Dreamsicle, okay? Now we are pairing him up to 4 females that are all hets for those genes, okay? Only one of them is 100% double het lavender albino pod. The rest are 66% het lavender albino, 66% het clown, 50% het pod, 66% het clown, 50% het pod, 66% het pod, 50% het lavender albino. Okay, so, and then we've got this female here, which is 100% het lavender albino, 100% het pod. So there are like massive odds, but this boy is a visual. Okay, and he's going into the blue. Every time I want to make a video of this guy, he actually looks terrible in this video because he is so dull right now. He looks like we've just put chalk all over him. But let me tell you, those oranges on this snake, what you can't see now, I mean, this looks, you know, he is so orange and so bright but he's in shed. He is completely in the blue. And this is a visual lavender albino pod, and he will be pairing up to these females that I have here, like this beautiful 100% double het. She's a nice big girl, beautiful 100% lavender albino, 100% het pod. And then I'm certain we're going to get visuals. And then we've got this huge girl who's a first-time breeder. She was only born, she's a November 2020 baby, but she's weighing nearly 2 kgs. I think she's actually weighing over 2 kgs now. She is a blade 66% het lavender albino, 66% het clown, 50% het pod. So yes, the odds are long, but whatever comes out of her will be hopefully blade and visuals, or blade 100% het lavender albino, 100% het pod. That's like the downside, which is not such a bad downside. And then the rest, I'm not going to pull those out, but they're pretty much the same. You know, when you start off as a new breeder like me, you don't have a lot of money. You actually always end up, once you get stuck into this hobby, you say you're only going to spend X amount, but then when you start learning about the genetics and learning about the possibilities and what is achievable, and if you do your research and you do it properly and you follow the right course, there is such potential in the ball python hobby, but you have to breed the right snakes. The problem with that is that you have to spend a lot of money and you have to wait a long time, because these snakes, you have to buy them. It's very, very rare that you're going to buy adult proven breeders, especially females that are such high-end snakes. Your best way of getting those kind of snakes is buying them as hatchlings and growing them up, or buying a whole bunch of hatchlings that you mix together, you're breeding them, and then you take all those babies. That makes the project even longer, and you're pairing up hatchlings for 3, 4, 5 years down the line, and then you're getting your visuals. That's the cheapest way to do it, but it's the longest way to do it. If you shortcut it, if you've got the money and you've got the bucks to spend, then you go ahead and then you buy you know, the visuals as juveniles, and you grow them up and then you breed them, and boom, you know, if you buy a visual dreamsicle male and a visual dreamsicle female as a hatchling, you grow them up in 2.5 years. Well, the male can breed in a year, the female 2 years, and then you use the male to make some maybe 100% double hets for the first year, and then when the females, if you've got some adult proven breeders in your collection, and then you can take the female when she's up to size and breed her back to that male, and then you've got your visual dreamsicles. But like the most expensive snake that I've ever bought, and I have featured him on a couple of videos, he is right now the most expensive snake that I've bought, and he's an investment for next year's project. Desert Ghost is a project that I am going quite big into, but Desert Ghost is very, very expensive. Now this powerhouse male here is a snake that I picked up a little while back. He's still a juvenile. a yearling if you want. I don't know if the colors are coming out on him. He is a pastel spot nose pinstripe pinstripe desert ghost 100% het harpo. He is nowhere near breeding ready, but he is planned for next year's season, and I have got a whole bunch of girls going to him. I've got 3 females that are all 100% het desert ghost with a combination of other incomplete dominant genes, and then I've also got a whole bunch of harpo females. Some are pinstripe harpo that will be breeding ready next year, so he'll be going to those to make visual harpos and visual pinstripe harpo 100% het desert ghosts. And then I'm just going to end off this video on showing you one last. It's probably, apart from the Dreamsicle project, this is a project that is very important to me. It is a desert ghost project. So I'll pull out the male. Okay. Now, what you're looking at here is just a single gene. You know, this camera on this lighting is just... this is a single gene desert ghost male. He's 5 years old. He started breeding when he was, I think, 1.5 years, whatever. He's sired 3 successful clutches in the last 3 seasons. And he is pairing up to 7. He's just on 1,200 grams, I believe, now. About 1,200 grams, just over 1,200 grams, 1,240, I think. So he's big enough to take on a good 6-7 females. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually, for the first time, show you guys the females that I'm going to pair him up to. Now this is a very grumpy girl here. This is one of the females, and he's pairing. This is a pastel bamboo 100% het desert ghost female. Now, she went off, she is planned for this season, and she is going to go this season. But 3 months ago, I didn't think that she was going to make it. Not make it as in surviving, but make it to breeding. I didn't think she'd be up to weight. I bought her, she's 2.5 years old now, and I bought her about 6 months ago, and she was weighing about 900 grams. And I was like, I'll easily get her to the 1,500, 1,600, 1,700 gram mark by the time June rolls around. And then she went off food 3 months ago. I bought 2 of them. I bought her and her sister. They are both identical. And I tried everything I could to get these females to eat. And they got stuck at 1,100 grams, 1,100, 1,150. And they just wouldn't eat. And breeding season is now upon us. But what I did is a little trick that I learned. I'm not going to go into the details of how and where I learned it. But what I did is I introduced, even while they were undersized and it was out of season, to trigger off a feeding response, a natural animal instinct feeding response. You must understand the temperatures are dropping here. It's going into winter. I heard that if you, and from under very good authority, and I don't want to name drop on YouTube, that if you introduce a male to a female that's gone off food, especially if it's a breeding female, you don't do this to yearlings, you don't do this to juveniles, you only do this to females that are slightly underweight and you are trying to get up to weight for the breeding season. Adult breeders, snakes that are ready to breed, but they're not quite at the weight as heavy as what you want them to be and the condition that you want to be, and they won't eat. I introduced the male to the female for 24 hours, and I had about 4 of them that weren't eating. And all I did was take that boy and put him in each tub for 24 hours. All 4 of those females started eating within a week. 2 of them started eating within 2 days. Okay, and we're talking about snakes that had gone off food for 2 months and weren't eating, and snakes that were smashing, and breeders for the year that were now, 2 of them were sitting at 1,100 grams and 2 of them were sitting at about 1,500 grams, but I wanted them to be 1,700, 1,800 grams. Okay, I weighed that female about an hour ago. She's 1,550 grams from 1,100 grams, and all I did was introduced that male to her once. Her sister was around about 1100 grams. I introduced the male to her once. I weighed her about 2 hours ago. She's sitting at 1350 grams, so about 150 grams, 200 grams lighter. But she's a smaller snake. She went off food a bit sooner and she hasn't come on that quickly, but she is back on and she is smashing. So, and then the others that were sitting at about 1500 grams. And I promise you, all it took was literally putting a male in there for 24 hours. He locked up with 3 of the females. The smallest of the desert ghosts, 100% head desert ghosts, he didn't lock up to, but it still triggered off a feeding response. Now, even though they locked up and she was that one was only 1150 grams, she's now sitting at 1450 or 50, sorry, 1550. And she is going to be introduced to that male next week. We're on Wednesday today, so next Friday, so basically in about 9 days, 10 days time, okay? In that time, she will have at least one more meal, but probably 2. And she'll be around about the 1600, 1620 mark, maybe even 1700 grams. The following week, she'll pair up to the heel, because I pair my snakes once a week, on a weekend, on a Friday night, up until a Sunday night or a Monday morning, depending on how many times I see them lock up. That female, by next week, by the time I pair her up, she will be sitting at approximately 1450, 1500 grams. That's a guarantee. They will not see that male again for another 6 to 7 weeks, because he's got 7 females to pair up with, and I pair up the male only once a week to each female for 2 days, 48 hours. Maybe push it a little bit longer, and instead of pulling them out on a Sunday night, I'll pull them out on a Monday morning. Give them one extra night. But their feeding response has increased, and now they're up to weight. And that for me was massive for my breeding season, because I really, really wanted to hit visual desert ghosts. Now, both those females are 100% het desert ghosts. They pastel bamboo 100% het desert ghosts. And I do believe, unless I'm wrong and someone has not done this before, I do believe that I will be the first in South Africa, if I do hit the odds, to produce a visual pastel bamboo desert ghost and a bamboo desert ghost. There are people that have produced pastel desert ghosts and other different desert ghosts, but I have yet to see a bamboo desert ghost or a pastel bamboo desert ghost. Here in South Africa, I have spoken to, I don't want to say a lot of breeders, but I've spoken to the breeders who I consider count, the top breeders that specialize, and one of them is a desert ghost specialist. And one of the guys said to me, if you do produce a pastel bamboo desert ghost, you'll be the first guy in the country to do it. So that's not too shabby for a second year breeder. So I'll be quite proud of myself if I do it. So please hold thumbs for me. And then guys, we've got far too many other snakes. We've got 125 odd ball pythons in this room. We've got about 40 plus females that are going to be breeding this year, and the males to go with them. I will be saving that for another video. This is already over half an hour long. I wish I could make this video longer, but it becomes absolutely boring to sit and look at my ugly mug for longer than this. Even 15 minutes is too long, but there's just too much information, especially when it comes to ball pythons. I could honestly make a 5-hour long video. But I'll just leave you with that for now as an updated video for North Coast Constrictors. That's just some of the projects that we're working on this season. There are a whole lot more. There's 40 projects, 40 plus projects that we're working on. Some of them are incredible. One of them is a 1024 odd. If I hit the genetic lottery on that snake, it would be like winning the lottery. A 1 in 1024 odds. It will be a visual 10 gene snake, and out of those genes, 3 of them will be recessive. I doubt it. Anyway, guys, from me, it's over and out, and we will catch you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and yeah, well, good luck if you're breeding, if you're South African or in the Southern Hemisphere and you are breeding now this season. Really good luck to you guys. I hope you hit the odds and that you get the snakes that you're looking for. I hope all your females are healthy. I hope they're up to size. I hope your snakes are eating, and I hope they're healthy. And yeah, let's wish everyone a great 2022 breeding season in the ball python industry. Cheers guys, over and out from me.